Hey, hello everyone. So today we gonna understand how XCTest used to work for our unit test cases for our particular view models, and how we can test our unit test cases for each and every functions which is there in our view model, and how the mock services and all helps us in that. So as you can see here, I in my previous videos, if you go and reference there, I explain how network manager used to be designed and all. So I already designed my network manager mock services. I do have my view models also. So now I will just explain you how we have to write our unit test cases. But before directly going to writing the unit test cases, I will give you the overview of my network managers and all, so that it will give you a better understanding how it works. So as you can see here, I created a protocol as endpoints which will have a response of decodable, means the response you will return, and these are the path of the network method. Method means get, put, delete, whatever method you have. Query parameters are those which you have for your URLs. Now coming upon the protocol, so this is the protocol which will conform to the endpoint, and the return type is our e dot response, which is decodable. Just now I explain you. So return type will be decodable, and then if you can see the network, our network client will confirm this protocol first of all. So see, if you can see above, uh, what is the above commented code, there is the and the below one, I just did one thing. I added the enums for error handlings, throws of errors and all, and because previously uh, I was not handling those scenarios also, and one of the reasons, and the updates are I segregated the validations part of it. So now let's come to the class. So the class will conform to the foundation, as we know it's a final class, conform to the protocol, then decoder. There is what you can see here is convert from snake case. This will, if you created a model, and in your model if some of the entities are named as final, where final underscore name, so those underscore will be when you're creating it in a view, then as that these details you are getting directly from the background, right? Backend, not background, sorry. So backend. So to avoid those underscores and all, we are using this dot convert from snake cases, and that's it. We are changing the JSON decoder and all, means modifying it on the basis of that. We have API keys. If these are my constant, I am using the very well known IMDb URLs and all, where I use my API keys. Uh, there is one thing, to make those API key secure. I put it in configure file, and then in plist, uh, I just give the key to it, and that's how it was. And from there, I'm directly using it as from my bundle. If it is correct, if I'm able to get the API key successfully, well and good. Otherwise, it will give me an error, and it will and I will not able to hit the API properly. And this is the base URL. and this is the base URL for the image which we're gonna show or we're gonna render it, in our view. And this is, if you can say, this is my config x dot conflict file, which basically what it is doing is like it is hiding my uh, API key and making it way more secure, so that uh, other than me, no one other than me or client, no one else can access our API key. And see, if you can see here, I already created a private mm, yeah, conflict dot mm, okay. Mm, I have to search this. Wait, come on, see. Yeah. Mm, mm, I don't know why I'm not able to find that. But what you have to do is like, I'll tell you. You have to make command and then you can find the secure conflict file. Mm, yeah, you have to make it next. Now you got the here you will make your private the name which I was searching, which I imported. As I made it private, that's the reason I'm not able to get it. Here you can make it conflict dot private dot this, and you have to create it. After that, the API key you got, just you have to give the value to it. Just here you can see API key. That's how you can make a variable and give the value, and then you have to import that file to another conflict file which I created as conflict file, and import the private conflict, and our API key is of will conform to that. Now coming to my info plist, this is the API key which I am now assigning it to, as you can see, and then we are good to go. That's how you can secure your API key. If you want a proper video how to make it secure network call with securing the API keys and all, no worries, just you can comment it down below. I will design the entire network manager with the conflict file to secure the API key, so that end user, and when you are pushing it in your get, you are keeping it in get ignore, so that it will not visible to the end users and all, and only you can access it. Or your local app will, currently it is there in my local, so my local will access it. Now coming up on uh, now coming up on my app, that now as I make it added just now, I showed you in info plist. Now I am using it directly from there, my API key, and then the same API key I am using it for my network class, accessing it with my network class as API key. I am adding the API key to your URL component, and at the end, and then the endpoints and all. Uh, Here you can also make a enum for your timestamp, uh, how much time you are giving to the APIs, if it's a long API or it's a short API. these things you can add it here. um, if you want, I will create in means in my next video I will design the entire network manager so that networking in async await fully, so that it will be easy for you to understand from the very scratch how we are designing it. Now let's come to the basic things. Okay, I did all those things. I checked my URL, I made my endpoints, I checked the methods. Then after that I am passing it to URL session. And after, and here in URL session, if you want to add SSL pinning, then you have to confirm it with another, you can create a method over here, and your URL session delegate can uh, conform to your SSL pinning, and there you can which will add another extra layer of security to your I can say to your uh, certificates for the clients, so that you can avoid man in the middle attacks and all, and it will make your app bit more secure. I already made a video how to make your app integrate SSL pinning. It's a normal it's a normal receive there is a did receive function which you have to check with your public key, which you are getting it from your certificate SSL certificates means, and then through the SSL through the certificates, and from then we are comparing it with our you can say service key with the public key, and if it is a match, then that is a secure or it's a genuine client, otherwise it is not. And then here directly we are calling it the same SSL method with data, and then for, and then we are passing the request. uh, Now you can check that authorization video I just made for the security of SSL pinning. And then now coming upon validation is nothing but we are comparing it with, like, it should be 200 to 229. If it is there, then data will be there for sure, otherwise there will be uh, otherwise errors and all, we are handling it. If you can see here, uh, 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 okay, these are the errors we are having, and passing the errors. And here also one of the things, like, if the data is there then fine, otherwise empty data we are handling it in this function. Then after that, just we are parsing our JSON decoder, and with our e response, and the data. Now here e response is, it's a decodable type, and it will convert it to our response what we are creating here. This is our enum is basically for the different scenarios of bad response, or error codes, not able to decode, API errors, and all those things we are handling it here. Now if you come here, that's how our API will that's how our you can say our API hit will look like. We created a enum with endpoints protocol. Not for movie response, I want responses of movie response type. This is my movie response model, and there are other models also. This is my URL, it's a get method with a query parameter. This is my query parameter, and that's it, you are good. And below are the other uh, these are the other API responses, the endpoints, and the query parameter, get, put. Here all the methods are get, as we are not doing anything put in uh, TMDB. So here only we have get method. Here you can see I have given API keys. You can comment it down here itself, because we already put it in our network line. here. So as of now, we are appending it, so not required. Uh, you can keep it or you can remove it, but you have to keep these things as these are your query parameters, and and that's it. You're good to go. Now, come coming upon my mock services. Mock services we create our for our you can say unit test cases. Yes. So you mock services are like we will create our JSONs, and after our creation of the JSONs, dummy JSONs and all, we will make it with check it on the basis of this function class, which is mock network client. This mock network client will conform to what? It will conform to our protocol, and then mock data is our data type, and then there's a boolean of show throw, and then the error handlings and all, and in it by default we have kept it as false. Okay, so I will tell you why we made this boolean. Basically, we are using this boolean to check the scenarios of if you are able to hit the API successfully or not. Means functions and all was able to hit successfully or not. Now coming upon the protocol, as we confirm, you confirm it with the network client protocol, so we have to have those functions. So here we had that function. Here either you can make it this dot like that, or here either you can make it as e dot endpoint, or also you can make it like this. E is what? E dot response is what type? It's an endpoint type, confirming it with endpoint, right? So either you can do it like this and remove this, or or you can or you can do the way it was before. It doesn't make any difference. It's a That's my E, and E will be of endpoint type. If you can see here in our here, if you see, we didn't did with where E, we are defining E is of endpoint type. Okay. Now coming upon our APIs. Okay, so what is the main mock function? So if our API hits successfully, if this will is true, although we are managing it with false, as we are testing it all the scenarios, right? So if it is false, means our API is not successfully hit. uh, there is some issues and all, and because of that there will be error, and we will kicked out of this you can say function. And if the things are fine, if your API hit successfully and all, everything is well and good, then you are checking adding the data, the mock data you created, you are adding it in data, and checking if it is not empty, well and good. Otherwise it will give the empty data error, and then you are parsing it. So our mock is that's it. Mock class is that, nothing but this only. Now coming upon our view models for our views, right? Suppose this is my view model. Okay, so if you can see here, what I did is, okay, it's observable type. My response will be a model. Okay, that's well. My response will be conforming to movies. Movies is nothing but which will have ID, title, and everything. These things are there in our movies. Okay. And search and all is one of the things which we are searching in our lists and all. That's fine. Now coming upon this load function. See, this load function, we are I made it at another function fetch, which will call and have a parameter of endpoint, and it is returning what movie dot response. Okay, so if you go here, look at this is our movie dot response. Okay, so get after calling this function, what we are passing it is popular movie endpoints. We, as I told you before, in our in we how our API, all the details of our API, we are maintaining it in a struct, right, to the endpoints, with what your return type will be, model looks like. This is your path. It's a get method, and these are the query parameters. So directly I pa I set my I directly set my struct which conforms to endpoint, and I am passing it to my fetch function. After that, my is loading will be true, error is null, and then defer is what at the very end it will execute. And now it is checking and passing this what response you are getting, right? This is the response what you are getting. This will be then sorry, this will return from the API when you hit the API successfully. Client dot execute. See, this will give you the response. Okay, and that same response, now what you are doing is like you are getting it in your response, but your response will have what you already define. Your response should conform to which type? Movie response. But you want movies, you don't want this movie response everything. You only want movies in your list to be rendered. So what you are doing is like, in the response I want the results. The results are what? The results are having movies. And where I will store? I will store in self.movies. So that's how my movies will get the data from the you can say backend, and then store it in my movies. And if it is not success, then you will get error and it will become empty and all. Now here you the main point which we have to remember here, as this is my view model, and I confirm my client with what? With my protocol. Okay, and when network client network protocol, and here in initialization, currently I am assigning my client with network client, which is a actual API, backend API hit, right? But in unit test cases, we want our mock to be executed. We don't want our actual API class to be there, right? For our particular view models. So what we will do here, that is the very important part, is now you make your client as a protocol, which is a type of a protocol. So now it can have both. It can either have a actual API class hit, or it can hit the mock. It can have amongst these two. So now coming upon my view model movie list view model test. This is my view model. I design a unit test for it. So here you can come, as you know, my app name is app.test, and then here it is, when you create a test file, then it will give you XCTest case. Then you create the very first function, and that is test load popular populate movies. Okay, so first of all, what we have to do is, like, as we know, our JSON response was movie.response, right? And this is that response is of, if you can see that struct of that response, sorry, that's how the structs looks like: page, result, total page, and total results, and like that, which will have movies have title and all those things, like these, blah 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 blah. Now I have to make a dummy JSON for this model, so that I can test all the methods. So what I did, I made a dummy JSON: page, total test, result will have my movies and all, and then data dot u, utf, and that's how you set. And then here is the main thing: this is my JSON. Now I have my mock network client, right? In my mock network client, I made a mock data as data type, confirming it as data. Here you can see as data. So now here I am setting this data with my dummy data JSON, which is this. Now this is done. This is my now mock network client done successfully. Now I have to have my view model, right? So now here, for my view model, what I will pass my mock class instead of the actual class here in my client. If you go there, if you can see, this is my view model. In my initializer here, I am by default passing it the actual one, which is my network client for actual hitting of the API which we are hitting. But for our unit test cases, we have to pass the mock class of the mock class for the unit test cases purposes, and for uh, uh, for uh, for testing of the various scenarios which we have. So here I am passing my mock class in the client, which is of confirming it with the protocol, and then now I am checking my load function. So this will have my load function. In my load function, now I will have what? Now I will have movies. It will check the movies, okay, because this is the data which I already passed. So movies, popular movies, with XCAssert equals to, there are multiple XCAssert test. XCAssert equals to, used to compare things. XCAssert true will check, like, is it a valid or not. Nil will not nil. Nil will check the scenarios for nil handlings, nil, and all those scenarios. So there are multiple functions which XC assert used to have. These are iOS inbuilt. Now see, here we are testing our API. Means what if you are not able to hit the API successfully? There is that scenarios, right, where you are not able to hit the API successfully. So you know, like uh, we have that bool value in our network, a mock network client. By default we set it as false, means you will not return, as it is false by default, so it will not have the return of error, and it will have the data and then the parsing of data and all. But if I set it as true, if it is true, means you are not able to hit the API, because of which your mock data is having nil value, right? If you're not able to hit the API, means it is having a nil value, as you have the initializers here. So if it is having a nil value and it is true here in this scenario, then you will not able to hit the load function, right? You this That's how your mock class will become. Then you will inject that mock class in your view model, as it is not having any of the values. So your vm.movies, the variable you created of movie type, will not have any value. So you are checking it with is empty, and then there is a error. You can see this error. So here you are setting the error with the error, so this error will be rendered. And same you are doing with the search function. In search, what you are doing, if you have a text field of search, this is your JSON. You can create a JSON file outside also, so every time you don't need to create it, you can make it a JSON here itself, or like that. So it will be accessible throughout the class, instead of making it every now and then inside a function. And then you are putting it in your mock class, then you are injecting it in your view model. And then if your search field is having hero, as it's a text field in your view model, then you are accessing this with your what, search function. Here in your search function, you are typecasting it, and then you removing the space and all. You can make it all as lower cases or uppercase, so that it will become easy for you to search and all. And then if if the queue is not empty, then you are hitting the load function, and then you will get the details of the particularly searched movie which you searched, and that will be added in your movies list. So by only utilizing one, creating a one instance of movie model, we are handling two scenarios here. One is for search purpose, your same list will show the same details for the particular movies, which is hero or Batman or something like that. And if you're not searching, if it is empty, then you are directly showing, you are having this load function. You will hit the load function in your view. I will show you the view also later on, but here we have a main goal to take the unit test cases here. Then you have the search function. Then you have to check, okay, if the count is, as it should be only one, right? Means uh, as it's a full movie name, there can be of hero 1 2 3, but those are different. Then here you are checking the title, that movie dot first dot title equals to search movie. You are comparing it with that, with this, and then this functions. Here also, it's this scenario for search is for if your API again false, means if you're not able to hit the API successfully, then your search doesn't make any sense. You will get the error and you will get the empty response. And uh, here you are searching with the popular ones, popular datas and all. Load popular, uh, as it's empty, nothing. You are just passing it, injecting those JSONs, and then on the basis of that you are comparing it. You are hitting the search function which is there in our view model, and and uh, you are comparing it with equals to its uh, count is 0, empty query triggers. So one more thing, as it's space, right, it is empty. So in our empty, as there is no movie, if you can see, as there is no movie, so we will not hit this API, right? Sorry, as there is no movie, so we will hit the load API, load function. So which load function will have what? Load function will have all the movies, not on the basis of the particular search one, right? Means particular search one, this one with queries and all. This is the query and all those. Okay, so coming up on this, yeah. So now load will load function will execute, and then same this one, that is the load what we did above. These are the two scenarios what we have in our search. If a queue is empty and queue is not empty, queue is empty. So these are the two scenarios we handle a scenario if your API is not able to hit successfully, and that's how you have to write your unit test cases. If you find this video more interactive, or you can say more valuable, please support me. uh, um, Hit a like button if you want how I design the entire network manager. If you want to know how to make the API key secure and everything from the very scratch, please drop a comment. A comment will help me to understand like what you actually want. How my main focus is not to make videos. I used to make iOS videos which you can directly use in your production level wise project. uh, not like for a small 10-minute interactive videos. I never used to design in such sense. I used to make it like, okay, you are good to go now, you can implement directly in your project. And because of that, I was not able to code it, because this is the project which have taken quite a time to make a networking and all those things. And if I code, then the big video become quite bigger and all. So that's the reason I coded before, and then I'm showing it to you and explaining in details and all. If you want to make it like, okay, you can code in front of those process which I follow from the scratch and all, please let me know. And please let me know if you want to understand how the actual designing of the network API, networking layer classes and all works, and then I will design it for you. And then how the routers and all those things works and all. If you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe my channel. Thank you so much and have a nice day. Bye. Cheers.